I almost wrote her a letter, but I knew better. I knew it wasn't time to lay it all on the line, or maybe it was, but I was just scared. It was going to be a love song about everything that went wrong and right, the bliss we shared into the latest hours of the night, and yes, the arguing, yelling, cussing, and the fights, but I was too scared. You know, it could have been an admission of guilt that everything we've built was killed by distrust, by being rushed to fix the nicks, the scrapes and scars on our hearts with no space to be apart. And then the anxiety would restart the spark, and so we'd embark on a whole new battle. And all that babble would baffle me like a wounded jackal trying to grapple with the shackles of a trap, but I couldn't put all that to the note scraps. You see, vulnerability is no longer a good place for her and me. It used to be, but our history erased the mystery and gave us reason to erect the defenses, big walls and fences and minefields filled with offenses with none of the consequences, because all's fair in love and war. But what happens when love turns into war? When respect goes out the door, we start keeping score, saying things we can no longer ignore and digging at the flaws. But let me pause and get back to my withdrawal. A state that was caused because I've been so hurt and so scared. I almost wrote her a letter, spilling all the tea from inside me like a sea of emotion, but I got emotion sickness, like a lifeboat afloat in the middle of nowhere, and I wondered, would she even care? So I sat, pen in hand, and stared at the blank page until my fear and all that turned into, well, not quite rage, but I opened the cage and let those emotions hit the stage, and I wrote me the letter, line after line, filled with the worst of you, the outbursts and the curses that accrued, how I felt duped when I immersed myself in you, how every time I swooped in to fix you, I broke more in the process. But I must confess, that part is not entirely her fault. That was my default. My way of gaining acceptance and love, an attempt to fill the hole in my soul because my mom's souls hit the road when I was 3, so I'll own that, you see. But I digress. So I wrote the letter, but the venting of venom didn't make me feel any better. It made my eyes weak, my eyes water, my heart weaker like a beggar, starved of the one thing necessary in healing, being heard. Not just a word, not just hear me, but comprehend, but understand. But I was too scared to share. So I burned that letter by the stairs where we stared into each other's eyes that night when she first told me I was loved. It's not that I'm afraid of old love, I'm afraid of new pain. From the boxing gloves that murder doves when we deign to lay the blames and strain to say sane again and again and again. I almost wrote her a letter, but I knew better. I knew the pain burning up my soul wouldn't hold a candle to the toll that would unfold if I gave it to her. So now we're in this empty, emotional space, and I'm feeling just about out of time and totally out of place, but I'm searching hard for a trace to embrace. A shred of proof to dispute the acute attributes that separate us, that make us not right for one another. But I shudder to uncover another reason why we're too far apart. It breaks my heart to think it may be time to depart, to restart. But we both deserve to be released of the beliefs that the other is to blame. I'm ashamed I ever played that game. So I tried to write that letter, but the pressure of the endeavor turned me from confessor to aggressor, and that gave me no pleasure whatsoever. I never set out to attack her or unpack the track. Sorry guys, I'm going to start that line again. When I tried to write her that letter, the pressure of the endeavor changed me from confessor to aggressor, and it gave me no pleasure whatsoever. I didn't set out to attack her or stack the tracks like an almanac, unpack the layout of her sins. I got skin in this game too, but the pain kept me from seeing through the residue, to tell the truths from the untrue. And then I got deja vu and I felt it all over again, and that made my head spin and my heart break again, so I gave up. Maybe someday we'll lay it all on the line, or maybe she goes her way and I go mine, or maybe we use this time to realign. All I know is right now, It's easier to do nothing than start one more fight, so I almost wrote her a letter.